Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got a garage review on the Tech Tree Tier 9 medium tank for the Italians, the Standard B, or the Prototipo Standard B. Now this is a tank that I don't particularly like, and that is one reason and one reason alone, and that is how bad the reload is. It really struggles. In games that go very quick, which have been quite a lot recently, it really can't keep up. I don't enjoy it, particularly because of that and other things that we'll get into. So let's have a look at the stats of it. Now you can use two guns. You can use the stock gun, which is the same one that you get on the Pantera, which in terms of its handling, 2 seconds aim time, 0.32 accuracy, 10.1 on the last shell that you load into the clip. It's not bad. It's an okay gun. Would I recommend using it over the top gun? No, not really, because the pen at 212 isn't enough for tier 10s. 259 pen on the APCR is fine, but you don't really want to be spamming the APCR because you will just lose money all the time, and you don't really want to be doing that. In terms of its actual reload, again though, for 240, 10 seconds, probably 9 with all equipment and good skills, is not the best for 240. You're looking at other tanks at the tier, other same tier medium tanks probably shooting every 8 seconds for 390 or 400. Yeah, so it's not the most viable gun, but if you hate the other gun, it could be okay. So here we go. 750 horsepower. Now it's very quick. It's a very quick medium tank. It was based off the Leopard 1, which is really mobile, and it feels like it. In terms of its mobility, it's really good. So the reload. Now this is the big problem. Okay, 15.7 seconds is the best reload you're going to get out of it. Then it's 17.7 and then 19.7. The reload's terrible. It's absolutely shocking. Oh god. 268 pen, fantastic. 330 heat pen, fantastic. 105 on the HEP, great HE pen that is. But will you ever use it? Probably not, because you don't want to risk the really bad reload. 360 alpha as well makes this reload even worse, because like I said before, there's tanks that will be shooting even faster than this thing, and yeah, they'll have 390 alpha. It's pretty horrible. 2.3 aim time, 0.35 accuracy. Now it's one of those guns that feels less accurate than it is. It takes quite a while to aim in, but that's okay. 0.35 is on that borderline. 0.35 is a borderline accuracy. That means that it's not quite in the accurate phase anymore, but it's not in the derpy phase. So sometimes it will hit perfectly beautiful shots, and sometimes it misses shots that you sit there going, what? How did you miss that? But it hit like the slim pixel shot. And that's one of the frustrating things, is that if this gun misses, then you have to sit there and wait on that terrible reload, and that's one of the frustrating things about it. In terms of armor, it's got no armor. It's like a Leopard PTA or Leo 1. It absolutely no armor. It doesn't do very well in that regard. 60 turret armor, 55 on the sides and rear. Yeah. Traverse speed on the turret and the traverse speed on the tracks is really good, so it does zoom about. It does out traverse tanks quite well. 390 view range is good. It's very nice to have on a medium. Let's actually have a look at the other stats for it. So, horsepower per ton. The power to weight, 21.75. Like I say, this thing shoots about at 65 km/h top speed. Really does shoot. It's really good for that. And 23 km/h back is great as well. If you go around a corner too quick, you go around a corner and find loads of people and think, oh god, I've got back out. It's really quick at backing out. That's great. So here we go. That's the problem. 53.10 second reload to reload all 3 shells. That's worse than a 5100, a tier lower. that is also now a medium tank. And that 5100 can clip out tanks at tier 9. You know, like, oh god, it's shocking. So let's have a look at the 5100, because I'm saying it now. Okay, this is I know it's not a reloader, so it's different, but the 5120 reloads its clip in 35 seconds for 1600. The standard B has 3 shells for 360, so it hits for 720, so that's 1080. It's got a 1080 clip for 53 second reload. That's mental to me. That is so bad. And I know it's not an autoloader. It's technically supposed to balance between the single shot and an autoloader, but it's just worse than all the autoloaders and the single shots in every regard. It's horrible. So anyway, yeah, let's have a look at the tier 8 Frenchie. So here we go. We've got the tier 8 Frenchie, the 5100, and that reloads in 3 seconds slower. It's got an intra clip of 2.73. 3 seconds slower, and it gets that 6-shot clip for 1800. So this tier 8 will drop a clip at you, but then be able to reload its full clip and drop another clip into you. It's probably already killed you by that point, to be perfectly honest. Obviously, you don't want to be getting all in by it, but I just want to put put across to you how bad this reload is. You know, and 15.7 base reload, getting that down to about 13 seconds for 360 alpha is horrible. And I say that because if we were to count, okay, the Sent 7-1, one of the worst reloads at the tier for a medium tank, okay? 11.2 seconds. It reloads 2 seconds faster than the standard B for its best reload. Probably even more than that. I mean, not even that, sorry. Its base reload, sorry, is 4 seconds faster than the standard B. Right, 4 seconds faster. And it gets 390 alpha instead of 360. Like, yeah, that is not good. That is just not good. It can't compete with medium tanks of its tier. If we're looking at like the Leopard PTA, which is the tank is based off, 5.83 rate of fire for it, 10.3 seconds. Again, that's 5.4 second better reload for 390 alpha, and it's more accurate, and its playstyle is exactly the same. Like, it's just horrible generally. Like, let's think of something else that's got 360. So 360 alpha heavy tanks at tier 8, if we're thinking of the Sergeant Slaughter, right? So the Sergeant Slaughter for 360 has the same clip potential, 3 shots in the clip, 33 seconds. It reloads 20 seconds faster. You come across a Sergeant Slaughter, this thing will rip you to shreds. Like, it's a tier 8. Never mind the tier 10s, which will just absolutely destroy you if you get into a knife fight with them. Which this tank does not want to be in a knife fight. It really doesn't. And I would never recommend it. It needs to be sniping. But then at the same time, 0.35 accuracy lets you down a little bit with the sniping element, but you can't be sniping all the time. There's a lot of maps where you won't be, and you're kind of relying on being able to put shots into people but reload in time to fire again. Now obviously having the choice, the ability on the auto reloader to fire one shell but then be able to drop a whole clip if you really needed to is great, but yeah, the reload's terrible. Now, shell velocity, 1450 meters a second, is fantastic. That is brilliant. 925 on the heat, now that's not good. But the shell velocity on the APCR is great. 28% camo while stationary is really nice. That means it's pretty stealthy. 21 on the move, which means you're not going to get spotted all that often when you're crossing, if you're like 400 meters away from people. So that's nice. And yeah, it's a 3 second intro clip as well, which is another thing that hurts, because that means it feels so slow. Like I say, 5100 puts out its clip quicker than, like, puts out 3 shells quicker than you do. 4 shells, it can clip you out, because obviously this has got 1700 hit points. I can't. I cannot fathom why the reload on this tank is so bad. It struggles in knife fights, and that kind of goes for the tier 10 as well. I mean, the tier 10 has a lot of good aspects to it. Like, the armor's great, and the gun accuracy is fantastic. But like, that is another feature of the line that is just not great. So on the whole, the standard B was a pretty horrible tank to go through. Just because of the reload. There's so many games where you do sit there just reloading, and you sit there for ages just reloading. You like can spin in a circle waiting. But I'll let you make your minds up as you go into the replays. So as always, everybody, enjoy the replays, and I'll see you there. So, one thing I did forget to mention is that this is a tank suggestion. This was asked for when I did that video quite a while ago. And that was James Koontz and Samuel Daemonarch. They both asked for this, which I'm happy to oblige. Even though I don't like the tank, I just still did play it quite a bit back then, so getting replays and that wasn't too bad. Yeah, it's a tank that I don't enjoy. Just the reload does kill it. You'll see that a little bit with fast-paced games in this, but there's all other things that you have to think about more. I think you have to think about a lot more things with this tank. And that's just because of the reload. You have to be thinking, right, I can't get the damage out. I need to think about what I'm going to do in terms of assistance. Because obviously I have 3-mark this tank, and it's probably more like a scout in terms of getting what you need to cross the line than any other medium. Because you really rely on the assistance to get the 3rd mark. And it's the same with it's probably the same with the tier 10. I've not 3-marked tier 10 because I've not put myself through that yet. But even though I do enjoy the tier 10, right? But, yeah. Used to me having great driving there. That was some great driving from Crow. Perfect on point driving. Straight across. So, I do run vents on this. That's the other thing I did forget to mention in the review. I run rammer, vert stabs and vents. And I run vents because the reload is so bloody long, right? For quite a while I didn't run vert stabs. I just dropped vert stabs and went with vents and optics. And that was because I did make sure that I was fully aimed on every shot I ever took in this thing. Missing shots is painful because you're seeing the reload right here. 12.42 seconds for that shot. 12.42 seconds for a 360 alpha shot. That's slower than the WZ-120 firing for 440. Like, that's mental. And then you get like frustration shots like I had on that then, where my first shot hit the tracks of the T-8, which is good because we've just got 1273 assistance for that. But at the same time, I got frustrated because I didn't pen the guy, so I fired my second shot, which means I'm now, stuck in at least another 22 seconds before I can fire again. So now there's a stock Conqueror. I'm going for that tracking wheel. Unfortunately, it doesn't track him. So we're going to do it again to get the track. And I've decided, you know what, I might blow the whole lot. There we go. The whole lot's in. And we're now stuck in a full reload, which is 50, as we've seen in the garage review, 52 point something seconds. So we're going to be out of the fight now for quite a while. Now, if your team's good, which we are platooned with Crow, Swindle, and Karma, so like we've already got a very good platoon on the team, then games can run away from you while you're stuck in this reload. So I'm very tempted just to go and shoot this T10 before I fully reload, but I want that tracking wheel, I really do, because I like, especially when I get that first shot, I'm not always going for tracking, but if I get a shot like I did on that T30 where I end up tracking them, right, and I end up getting a load of assistance for it, all of a sudden it's in my mind, track, 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 I need to track. So we put that first shot into the 257's lower plate, lovely shot. And as you see in the APCR velocity as well, the APCR velocity is beautiful. Like 1400 meters a second just means that once you've pulled the trigger, it's not long before it hits again. So there we go, drive wheel at the T10. Can we hit it? No, because we hit the dead wreck. Frustratingly, so we're going to drop the second shot, and we track him, and we're just going to blow the whole lot. But we've got damage out of that. We've tracked the guy. We're getting racking up the assistance damage for it now, and we're in a full reload. We got tapped by the SU-130 PM at the end of the road, unfortunately, but we're still really healthy, so it doesn't really matter all that much. But now I've got a shell in the clip. It's time to go, because again, their team is now just crumbling. They're falling apart. So we're going to plough forward, and I'm waiting. See, this is the problem. I'm in that reload, and I don't want to finish it until I've reloaded that second shell. Otherwise, I've wasted time waiting, and I'm waiting for ages. Like, that is the big dilemma you have in this tank, where you're stuck in a reload and you don't want to fire, because it's just the end of you if you do it. So tracking. Tracks. And we're now waiting to see... Well, we just pop that shot in again. And we pen it, surprisingly, but we get a bit of tracking. Unfortunately, annoyingly, he repairs. We got about an extra 400 tracking on him, but he repaired it at the last second, which, like I say, is just frustrating. Especially when you've wasted your shells waiting for it. So again, now that we're in a reload, we're thinking, okay, what's the best way to maximise this? Well, we want a tracking shot, but then again, they're not healthy. So we're just going to plough around. And we're after a shot at the side of the C-75. We're aiming, and of course, bang. He dies. Some great driving again. I don't know why I'm not shooting him in the side. There we go. No, you took too long. That's it. You've lost the damage. But that's the frustrating thing about this tank, because of how annoying it is to miss, and how how bad it is for your reload if you miss a shot, right? You don't want to miss, so you don't take risky shots all that often. So you're stuck with that reload. So like in that game, we ended up with 4.2k damage and 3k assistance. And 3k assistance because we just tracked. And that is something you want to do when you're playing this tank. You just want to get assistance. Obviously, if you start getting good spot and assist, go for spot and assist, don't track. Because if you're going for your marks, it'll count. If you get both. So if you ended up with like 2k spotting and 2k track, or 2.1k tracking, say, the tracking would be counted towards your mark of excellence, the spotting wouldn't. Because that's the way the MOE system works. To me, the MOE system should be just whatever assistance you get in a game should count. It shouldn't be like split between the two, but whatever, that's just the way it is. So we're on Prokhorovka now. Swindle is in his standard B, we're both in standard Bs, and we're just going to take the bowl. The bowl is taken because we want to get as much spots as possible. We can be aggressive, because the reason I've taken this straight away is because there's no light tanks, right? And there's no arty. So I can quite happily take this bowl without getting pooped on, or without getting YOLO'd by light tanks. As well as that, this replays pre 5.0. So which means this bowl position is a lot more useful than it is now. Because obviously now there's a lot more foliage back there. And there's just generally a lot more that helps stealthy tanks stay unspotted. So, like, this bowl position has been nerfed slightly because you're going to struggle to spot things as easily as you did. So you're not going to get as much assistance as you did. So sometimes taking this position is just not as useful. Now, we did poke the bowl then to go have a look at these guys on the 5-6 line, and we ended up getting tapped by everybody because they looked my way just because the Conqueror had just fired at them, which was rather unfortunate. But we are now at 2.2k spotting, nearly 2.7k spotting, and this is why the bowl was so good, because you could just keep popping up, spotting people, getting assistance. You're also seeing in this game how the accuracy is at firing at distance. Like, generally, it's okay. It's one of those guns where it misses shots that it probably shouldn't, and then, like I say, you get a bit frustrated because the reload's so long and you waste time. But for the most part, it's okay. I don't know why I took that shot at the E3, sorry. I don't know why I took that, because you're never going to pen an E3's cupola. Sometimes you get lucky and it goes in, but it's like 350 effective or something like that. It's never going to happen. And I've lost my train of thought now, but anyway. Yeah, so... yeah, that's it. You miss shots and you sit there frustrated because you are waiting for that reload. And it takes forever. And if you miss time you reload as well, it's even worse. Like, because if you get to, like, say... 2 seconds like now, and then I pull the trigger, that'd be a waste of the shot straight away. So, we're just popping shots now where we can, because that Conqueror presented as his ass, and we kind of had to take the opportunity to shoot. We weren't going to get many other opportunities to shoot, and we are getting spotting from this bowl, so we're just keeping firing while we're down here, and just keeping people spotting, or spotted. And I am now just waiting for the reload, which takes an age when you're stuck in it. But again, we're just lighting up what we can. We've got 2 shots in the clip now. That guy's a 1 shot, so it's tempting. But we're still being looked at. I don't want to risk it. And we're looking for more shots at these guys over here. So, again, I'm not quite sure how that shot missed on the T10. But it did. We're getting some nice tracking for it, but then we get smacked from over there as well, which is not good really. That means we're a 1 shot for everything now. We've dropped a clip again into the back of that T10. And that first shot is what I mean though, like it's full red. It's pretty much him in the aim circle. And unfortunately it didn't go anywhere near him. So we fired that last shot in the clip then at that 279E, because this WZ-11114 has gone in. Or 257 even, it's not even 279E. But yeah, we wanted to help the guy because he'd gone in, right? So we don't want to leave him to it. We needed to give him a little bit of help. And this push I'm doing is also risky because I'm a 1 shot for everything. And if that chieftain had decided to poke out and pop a shot at me, I would have died most of the time, unless he low rolled. Which is why that push was risky generally. But in this entire time we managed to get down here, we've got a full clip in, and I'm kind of cautious about the guys on the left, but we're just going to pop this whole clip into him, track him, and then the final shot in, break his engine. He's now looking my way, but that's a whole clip of damage. That's one thing the auto reloaders are decent at, and that's padding damage. So if you come across a target like that and their team is going down, and you're not really got much damage yourself, they're quite good at padding the damage, because you can just drop a clip in and then bows your uncle, you've got 1,000 extra damage on top. It's the same as if you realise you're going to lose and you've got a full clip, right? And you know your death is incoming. You can just drop the clip and go, oh look, I've got an extra 1,000 damage. So we finish off that E4, and there's just the 2 guys left over there, a heavy tank and a TD. We're on 4k damage, 3.4k assistance. And we're just going to see if we can get shots at these guys' butts. So rather than get closer to him, we're just going to pull up over here. So we're going to fully aim, and it flies in. Luckily, 384 is a good roll. That's above average. And that's the problem with 360 Alpha as well, is the fact that for some reason the 360 on this tank tends to roll very low quite often. You tend to get below 360 more often than not. And look at that, fully aimed, shell flies in to the back of the M103 turret, which is quite nice. I'm finishing the game with 4.5k damage and 3.4k assistance, or nearly 3.5. It was a nice game for the standard B. It was pretty nice. It was a pretty standard game for Prokhorovka again. Like, it's just the way it worked. So that was an ace tanker, 4.5k damage, 3.47 assistance, 1800 base, 2 kills. A nice game for both me and Swindle there. But yeah, the standard B, it's okay. So as always everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.